Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Yvonne with the Be the CEO of Your Life live show. In this show, we bring you amazing guests that will help you to grow your business and give you inside tips as a business owner so you don't have to go looking for it. And today we have a very special guest that's going to talk to you about how you actually can facilitate your business credit without being at risk personally. I love it. I love it. And you really need to listen because it's going to be groundbreaking. Hi, I'm Yvonne of Amaze Yourself Coaching, and I love that you're watching the Be the CEO of Your Life live show. We help busy entrepreneurs who are driven to grow their business to the next level so they actually can work smart, earn more, and live better. And today we have a very special guest that is actually very well prepared to help you do so. Geoff, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's our absolute pleasure. Geoff, can you quickly introduce yourself so that people know who you are and what it is you do?
Sure. I'm Geoff Suval. I am an executive vice president at Galt. And, at the highest level, we help business owners separate and keep separate their business credit and the personal credit and get access to the credit capital, the money they need for their business at better rates and terms without having to give personal guarantees.
I love that. And in this just short introduction, you already said so much. But break it down for me. Why, first of all, why am I personally at risk when I'm talking business credit? Because I would assume, I know better, but I would assume I wouldn't be at risk. Two separate things, right?
Yeah, we would all assume that. And, it's interesting. I have my own story. And when I actually stumbled upon Galt, it resonated with me because I had lived the challenges that Galt effectively solves for. So when you're a business owner or when you get started, somebody at some point says to you, you start a corporation or an LLC. That way you get that protection of the corporate veil, right? So we start an LLC or a corporation and we think we're protected. However, the moment that we go and try to get funding or financing for our company, if we can qualify for it, because often they look at our personal credit anyway, but if we can qualify for it, they're going to say, go ahead and sign right here. And what you're signing in 99% of the cases are personal guarantees. So even though you have that protection of the corporate veil, you've just pierced it by signing that personal guarantee. You've now commingled your business and your personal financial life.
So, Geoff, before we go any further, let me say that you are in the States, right? And this is applicable in the United States, so not everywhere worldwide. But I would listen to this even when you're not in the States, because there are many other countries where there is something similar going on. But just to be specific, this definitely applies when you're in the United States. So you're saying, like everybody there thinking, okay, LLC, I'm covered, because that's basically the whole reason for a lot of people why they start a LLC, because then, I'm not personally attached. But you're saying you're signing it away. Can I not know that? How does that work?
So they probably don't recognize exactly what they're signing. They don't realize that they are actually essentially inviting the vampire across the threshold the moment they sign that personal guarantee. They still think, well, yeah, I mean, sure, my house might be at risk if I can't repay this loan, but I'm still separating my business and my personal. It doesn't actually occur to them that by just signing that personal guarantee, you've now forfeited that separation. And so they frankly don't know, and neither did I. And when I had my business, and it was a pretty successful retirement advisory business, that I needed access to money to pay some outside consultants to help me do the work for some pretty significant clients before I got paid, because you get paid quarterly based on the assets in the plan. So I had to open a business line of credit. And I used that business line of credit to pay these outside consultants. And I noticed that my FICO score, my personal FICO score, was taking a real hit. And I didn't understand why, because I thought they were separate. It's a business line of credit. Well, they're not separate. They're not separate until you actually go through an appropriate process and make yourself more credible and credit worthy, so that you actually your business looks more attractive in the eyes of the business credit and lending world, where it now can stand on its own, and you no longer have to be that guarantor or that personal backstop.
Okay. And talk to us about that process, because that's something you help people with.
Yes. Yeah. We are at our core, we're actually a software company with a pretty long history. We've only operated under the J. Galt name for about 3 years. And there's a backstory there. But basically, to get on our software platform, and we have hundreds and hundreds of companies, lenders, vendors, issuers of credit, everything from trade cards to store cards to major credit cards to banks to private lenders. We got them all. To get on our software platform, all of those hundreds of companies have to give us a couple of critical pieces of information, which ensures our success and the success of our members. They have to tell us, number one, what their approval criteria is in writing. So none of our members ever get declined for any of the credit or the capital they apply for through the companies on our platform, because we have the approval criteria in writing. The second thing they have to tell us, and this is critical, they have to tell us which business credit bureau or bureaus they report to. And there are 3 major business credit bureaus, and they're different than the personal ones. We're talking about Dun & Bradstreet, they're the biggest, Experian Business, and Equifax Business. Those last 2 are different than the personal side of the house. Now, this is the interesting thing. Of all of the thousands and thousands of companies, Yvonne, that extend credit or lend money, and there are thousands of them, only 7% report your on-time payments, like your timely payments, your good behavior, right? When you pay your bills,
yes,
to the business credit bureaus. I'm not a math major, but that tells me that 93% of all the places that were buying things that we need for our business and paying those bills on time aren't giving us credit for it. However, if we're ever late, they'll report that. So those 93% of the companies that won't help us when we pay on time as agreed, they'll hurt us if we're ever late, and they will report that. So to get on our platform, we only work with companies that tell us their approval criteria and that report your good behavior, your on-time payments to the business credit bureaus, which makes it very easy for us to do what is necessary to help our members demonstrate their ability to pay their bills on time, because it's reflected on the business credit bureaus.
right. So this is already scary enough, Geoff. I mean, I'm doing good, but I'm not rewarded. But once I miss one, I'm immediately slapped. So that's already scary enough. But isn't it then true? Because I'm already going like, wow. So many companies, you're unaware that this is going on. Yet, can I then assume that it's actually affecting my credit score in a negative way?
Yes.
And then what happens?
Well, hopefully you stop doing it, because you realize that everything you do is actually, either impacting you negatively or certainly not helping you. But the thing that should make it a little bit less scary is knowing that there actually is a solution. There is a way to actually, stop the bleeding and actually begin repairing. Because when you build your real business credit, your EIN credit, corporate credit, it actually allows you to rebuild your personal credit, your FICO score, because you're no longer going to be leveraging your personal credit to fund your business, which is what we see so often with a lot of really successful businesses, Yvonne. You have business owners that their personal credit scores not great because of their business. It could be utilization or any other number of things that are dragging down their FICO. And the other thing is that corporate credit doesn't even begin right off the bat. It always begins with business credit. There's 4 different vendor tiers, credit tiers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can't skip. You can be a really big company, 30, 35, $40 million annual revenue. And you can't just start with tier 4. You got to start with tier 1. Tier 1 takes you to tier 2, tier 2 to tier 3, 3 gets you to 4. Tiers 1, 2, and 3 are pretty much business credit. And in the business credit world, we're actually still personally guaranteeing things. We're still generally having to co-sign as mommy or daddy on all the things that we're taking out financially. It's not until you get to that tier 4 and your business credit score is 80 or above, and the scale is 0 to 100 generally. Actually, Equifax uses a different scale, but you use the mathematical equation, it gets you down to that 0 to 100 scale. Once you're at an 80 and above at the highest tier, that's when you actually get that separation of your business finances and your personal finances. But it begins as business credit and then becomes corporate credit after you've gone through the process.
And when is now the best time? Because people that are watching this, and by the way, let me say that if you have any questions for Geoff, or you want to connect with him, or you want to understand more, connect with Geoff on LinkedIn. Do so, because he's a great guy and he will give you proper advice. But when would be the right time to fix this? When should people start this process?
So there's that old Chinese proverb, right? When's the best time to plant a tree? It was 20 years ago. When's the next best time? It's today. And so, really, the sooner the better, because we believe that building your corporate credit profile, your EIN credit profile, should be business building 101. Mm-hmm. However, people don't know about it, so they don't start right away. Sure. When you look at all of our members in every industry sector nationally, and we cover pretty much every business in every industry, the average time it takes to get through our very intentional process, 7-step process, utilizing our software, it's about a year. And so, but even successful businesses that are cash flowing well, that are like, well, I don't really need access to more money right now because things are really good. Well, yeah. That's right now, right? You never know how things might change in the future. So you need to do it now so that you'll have what you need when you need it in case things do change. And so the best time to do it is as soon as you find out about it, and then commit to the program, because we're really good at what we do, but it's not like a magic wand. You don't sign up and suddenly have what you need when you need it. You have to go through the process, right? You have to be coachable enough to be pulled through the process using our team that's going to do as much for you as they can, but they can't do it all. No. It's a partnership.
Sure. So you're saying, even I'll come back to that, but even when I'm not in bad weather, basically, you should still enroll in the program, so you actually have access to greater financial opportunities as well that won't harm you personally while you take them out. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Right. Having access to unattached to you, untethered to you, credit and capital gives you the ability to grow or scale, seize opportunities as they arise, or frankly, weather a storm. And we're in a bit of a storm right now. It's tough out there for a lot of businesses. And so it certainly gives you more options. And the other thing that I think members need to be aware of, or prospective members need to be aware of, is just going through our process doesn't ensure that every bank out there is suddenly going to say, you don't need to personally guarantee this, right? Mm-hmm. Many banks are still going to say, no, our underwriting criteria still requires a personal guarantee. What going through a process like ours allows for is it allows you to get offers from companies that are willing to underwrite using different criteria, that demonstrated ability to pay that I alluded to before. So you'll have options. You'll get great offers from other banks and lenders that you can go back to the banks that you've been banking with for years and say, hey, look what I got. Can you match? And some will match it, But if they don't, it doesn't really matter because you have offers from other banks and lenders that are attractive. And, you know, lots of businesses have more than one bank that they do business with. And so it gives you options.
Yeah. And is it, I can imagine that, Geoff, that most people that will come to you, and you were talking about how the landscape for many isn't that, you know, rosy right now. Isn't it true that people that come to you are normally in more severe weather?
That unfortunately does seem to be the case. And so we hope that we'll be able to get them to a place where they will be able to continue and be a going concern going forward, which is why there is urgency to start before the house is on fire. That's
Right.
the thing.
Yeah.
And so, but yes, you're right. So, you know, generally companies are already in a bit of a predicament when suddenly they're like, oh my God, you know, and they all say, I wish I knew about this before. Like we hear that every single time. And so the fact is your lucky relationships are hearing about it now. And so maybe before we get there, while there still is time and they still are committed to their goals, the hopes and dreams that made them make that leap, you know, to start their own business in the first place, there still is time. So let's get started. Like waiting, you know, is not generally a strategy, and hope is not a strategy. You got to take action and take action soon.
I love that. Hope is not a strategy. So, Geoff, besides that people need to join the process as soon as possible, that's clear for me. What's the one valuable insight you can share from your experience that people really need to hear?
It's almost what I just said about, you know, hope is really not a strategy. I mean, these business owners, these entrepreneurs, they all had a vision when they got started, and they had their why. Whether it was because they thought they had a better product or a better service, or frankly, they wanted to provide a better life for their family, but they had that reason. So they did it. And we love entrepreneurs that have that courage.
Yes.
So they did it, right? And then once they started doing it, well, reality kind of set in, and the realities of business and dealing with customers and employees and insurance and all the other things that as business owners we have to deal with. So some of that light, that joy that they had going in has been dashed, and it's heartbreaking when you see that. And so I feel like our mission, our team is focused on helping these business owners to rediscover that why, that thing that made them get started, right? But then we need to inspire the action because they have it within their power to get back to that. But again, it's not hope, not going to get you there. You need to do something. You need to do something. So taking action is what is, I think, critical that everybody needs to be willing to do. If you're committed to your vision, you got to take action.
I love that. Good. So, two final questions I have for you, and then we're going to round up. Question one is, I know you ran a successful business yourself. What was your secret to success?
So there is this, I was in financial services for 30 years before I got into this type of financial services consulting. It was more traditional insurance and asset management type work. And very early in my career, someone gave me a copy of a very well-known speech that was originally delivered at like a life insurance convention. I know you wish you were there, right? Back in like the 1930s. And the speech was called The Common Denominator of Success. And it basically boils down to the secret to somebody that's ever achieved success in really any endeavor. And it could be whether it's personal, it could be business, your spiritual life, personal life, whatever success you're striving for, boils down to one thing. Those people that have found success are the ones that were willing to form the habit of doing things that unsuccessful things are not willing to do. So, and I think the thing that keeps you on track, right, towards making that a habit is not being driven by production and numbers. It's being driven by purpose. So find your purpose, right? And then do the things that's required to get there.
I love that. Find your purpose, connect with your why and take action to make sure you get there. I love that. Thank you so much. The final question of today. This is the Be the CEO of Your Life live show. How are you embodying being the CEO of your life, Geoff? Final question.
Oh my gosh. Well, I do need to take care of certain things first and foremost. And that is I try to maintain balance in my, with my health, with my work life, my personal life. And so I form healthy habits. I drag myself out of bed sometimes when I don't want to, first thing in the morning, and I get to the gym. I don't love going to the gym, but I love what it does for me. And it gives me that confidence. I participate in a couple of other groups where it's a bunch of people getting very honest, talking about the challenges they're going through, where we're able to show vulnerability, which I believe is actually the definition of strength. So I participate in those things. And I maintain connections with the people that are the most important in my life, because it's not about just work and success. But if I can maintain those things, health, and a balance between work and personal life, and these connections with these amazing people I've been fortunate enough to have, that allows me to continue to be successful.
I love that. Geoff, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Yvonne.
And if you have been watching, thank you so much for being here. Remember, this is the Be the CEO of Your Life show, hosted by Yvonne of Amaze Yourself, where we will help you to work smart, earn more, and live better.